Welcome to another Graviteam Tactics Mius Front DLC, and I absolutely love this one, guys. Now, the name of the DLC is The Grim of Death. I absolutely love the names these guys come up with for their DLC, and this one is no exception. Now, we're actually focusing on when the Soviets began to actually turn the tide during the winter against the actual Germans in 1942. There was an actual Soviet offensive. It's not near Lake Ladoga, not near Lake Baikal. And essentially, we are playing as the 96th Infantry Division here, defending against those Soviet forces. Some people don't like night battles. We will be playing a night battle to show off this DLC because the Soviets attacked in the early morning around 6 a.m. But about 30 minutes into the battle, an hour into the battle, it will be daytime outside. And we are going to be playing as pretty much a German division here with no tanks to support us. We have very little to stop the actual village from Vinaglovo from being taken. But one of the beauties about this DLC is it's 32 turns long. If I'm not mistaken, this is the longest or one of the longest DLCs for the game, and you will be getting reinforcements and additional troops over the course of the actual campaign. So we're going to be playing a battle here defending against, I don't know what kind of Soviet offensive, but rest assured that these guys actually are prepared for winter warfare, and we're not. So let's see how it goes. We're going to jump right in, and hopefully we can hold out against the Red Tide. Alright, so we're trying to defend the road to Kostovo, and we're also trying to defend this point right here. But I'll be absolutely honest with you, I think the Soviets are going to attack right there, and it's pretty clear that's what they're going to do. We've got some scout teams over here, so I think we shouldn't necessarily bring all of these guys over, but we're going to suffer some command penalties for separating these guys. That being said, let's hope it works out. You can see it's nice and dark. There's also snow on the ground. So I do think that these battles with snow on the ground are somewhat better. The visuals are a little better than night battles, at least. Night battles in daytime, or excuse me, night battles without snow on the ground and, you know, with mud, it's much harder to see anything, etc. The problem is that's also true for the enemy. It's going to be a lot easier for them to spot us. So I want to be absolutely prepared. Now, we are going to be getting some reinforcements immediately right there. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to move these guys and push them up all the way over here into this sort of wooded area where the rest of them are actually going to be approaching. And hopefully this will be sufficient to keep the enemy off us. I'm even going to take some of the infantry units and put them in front of the guns here in an effort to pretty much stop the enemy from ever getting to these guns. And keep in mind, these guys are dug in, so these are going to be foxholes, they're going to be trenches, etc. So they're going to have a pretty nice effect, assuming the enemy does attack here. And just in case they don't, we've still got some units over here, and we've also got the scouts watching this area. In fact, I'm going to bring these scouts and bring them over here. Kind of have a little forward operating post. We don't usually do this in a battle. Let's see if it improves the outcome. All right, folks, let's get started. Wish us luck. I have no idea what we're facing. We could be facing tanks, but I'm pretty sure we're just facing Soviet infantry prepared for winter combat, and that can't possibly bode well for us. As always, we'll return when the battle begins. I'm also going to take a Kunat's unit here, guys, and I'm going to go ahead. I was going to say fast move, but that means he's going to take the roads. So I'm just going to move him into this sort of beaten up wooded area. I'll just go ahead and order a normal move. We've got Katyushas. This is not good. Definitely being attacked by Katyusha rockets right here, guys. And actually, we've received a lot of artillery damage over here in the woods, which means that they might be coming from this village of Gulin and actually moving through this area where the guys are not dug in. The only place we have men dug in is over here in this area. These guys just arrived on the battlefield. They just marched from command headquarters. So this is dangerous. We do have a few of them dug in here in the front, but the guys in the middle, I should say, are not. So hopefully, just from them being entrenched here, we'll be able to save them. But as for the guys out here that just joined the fight, I'm kind of already started moving them out of these open areas. So let's grab Humbak, pretty much anyone we can in this area, and we are going to once again push them. Well, you know what? Now that the enemies are attacking this area, I'm not sure, but maybe we'd be safe for amongst the trees. So I'm going to go ahead, push into the forest, and maybe we'll end up getting a daytime battle after all. It's taking a while for the enemy to actually attack us. Good luck, Mena. It begins, and look at this firepower, guys, that we've got. Honestly, reminds me of like a Star Wars battle. These guys just appeared, about 7 or 8 Soviets. Our guys, the two groups of trenches have eviscerated them. There's no other word for it. They just ripped them apart. And now it looks like they're attacking that front on the left. That's exactly where I sent the infantry. This is what I expected. So let's get to shooting. And this is going to be a very interesting fight. I obviously want to try and get these guys sort of more spread out. So I'm going to move this fellow over here, Kubniat. But we've also got some trenches that can focus their fire over to that area. It's going to be kind of hard for them to see because there's a bit of a, at least for these infantry, there's a bit of a downhill situation going on. But I think we can really light these guys up. Unbelievable, guys. Look at the numbers. They're actually going directly for our recon positions, so we have a really good view of them. And despite the recon not usually being effective, take a look over here. I think they're going to be doing a good job. They've got MP40s all over the damn place. They've got even some snipers amongst them. Hopefully we can really cut down the Soviets completely in this fight. It's called the Grim of Death for a reason, and that's because this is really when the tide slowly began to turn. The Germans still had the initiative in April, but you could tell that things were getting a bit tougher, a bit more serious, and the Soviets were putting up definitely more of a fight. Let's see. Now this area, look at how badly they have bombarded us here. We've lost 2 commanders just from bombs. They absolutely blew this area to shreds. We've still got some men on fire there, just to show you the seriousness of this situation. They were not kidding around. So I suspect they'll also launch an attack over here at Tulen. There's another reason they may have done that. Number one, it could just be to make us think that they were going to attack here and instead attack over here. Another thing is they don't want us to launch a counterattack on Tulen and retake it. And I'm kind of getting itchy to do exactly that, but you guys know me, that's kind of my tactics in general on this channel, is to be overly offensive. I try not to do that anymore in Graviteam tactics. I really tried to play the way I would as a commander in the real situation, and right here I would not move my men. Just keep firing. Just called somebody an Ashlock. Okay, maybe we should also send Gottwald an assist here. Move him over here so that he can assist the recon team. I'm not sure. It's such a long move, though. It's going to take at least 20-30 minutes. We could try to move him across the river. That would be interesting, but maybe just a death march. So I'm going to push him here and defend, because I see some actual Soviets in the area. I won't push them across the river. That's just insanity. But we will move them out of their trenches and get over here and start engaging them. Let's also go ahead and grab any additional units we've got back here. Ooh, they're merged. So in that case, I want to move them separately. Oh my goodness, guys, look at that. Really just want to send as many units as possible, but I need to actually get over to the area and take a look, because things are crazy. You can tell this is, I can see why it's going to be a 32-turn campaign. There are just so many enemies. I'm not used to seeing this many Soviets on the field. Let's take a look over here. We're either dropping smoke or getting heavily bombarded in this area, and certainly our men are taking cover. We've got some boys all the way over here that I actually sent in, the reinforcing infantry. And yeah, they're all just taking cover. One of them is hit, but most of them are just keeping their heads down. So not a good situation for our boys. Got to get some more firepower. In fact, this area is looking better than ever to set up a fire post. So try and take some of the machine guns and actually set them up over here. And I think I'll take Yodel and send Yodel over here to assist our boys. We're going to do an attack. We're not bringing anybody from the trench. We're just bringing units over here from the wooded trench area. Of course, kind of assuming they won't attack here. I'm still leaving some units behind, but in general, I'm turning my attention over here. Look at that machine gun.
Feindliche Infanterie!
They could have more units. Look at that. Look at how spread out their line is. Incredible.
Verdammt normal! Das ist ein Befehl!
One of the guys has lost his mind. He's getting out of the trench. What are you doing? And maybe they are switching the attack over here. We've got Drexler's unit right at the front to defend. Well, to depend on also. And we've got good old Gottwald's unit here watching the Soviets, and they are going to try to cross. There's no doubt about that. The question is, where are they going to cross? And I would guess this is the only area they really can. Everywhere else is a bit too deep. Light them up, boys. Got a few dead Soviets right there. And we're definitely firing rounds, or at least firing a few AT rounds. Or not AT rounds, I guess it would be AP rounds, if we have them. I'm sure we do have some anti-personnel rounds on our larger guns. We just can't see the enemy. They're kind of over here. There's some woods actually blocking them, so it's doubtful we can actually spot them. But there's Humbach. We've got some units arriving over here to assist, and hopefully that will get these guys to stand up and actually start fighting back. In fact, I'm almost tempted to send them on an attack, get them a bit more aggressive here, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Boys, go. We can't just stand around here forever. There's plenty of Germans here. Get up. Get on your feet, men. And there's the AT fire. I should say the AP fire. We need more of that. I see why he got out of the trench, because this is the only way he can actually fire that MG and still spot the enemy. Alright, nice. Just gotta keep our eye over here. They might try creeping over.
Stellung halten!
Let's see if they bothered to attack. No, I think they really are completely pinned. They are gonna refuse that attack order. What do we got here? Oh my goodness. Okay, well our mortar has just been... They've just retreated from the mortar, and I can understand why. There's fire all around the damn thing. Beautiful. Beautiful. Completely cutting them down here. Completely cutting them down. So advancing on this front, I think, was a good idea. I think we'll eventually push them out of here. Look at all those dead Soviets. Just look at that. It really is just the grim of death here, is what it is. They're all over the place. It's like ants. And if we go over here, we have more dead Soviets. Even more dead Soviets over here. We just have to keep pushing onto this wooded area and completely conquer it for ourselves. Now, of course, it's already pretty destroyed. Not the least because of bombardment, but also because it's probably wintertime. A lot of these trees lose their leaves. But I think this particular case, it's because of massive bombardment. Because if we go back here, these trees still have their leaves, even though they're not too bushy. Obviously, the best thing to do in this situation is there's a lot of patience in this battle. No real point to attack on that front. The only thing I'm thinking about is bringing these guys, not those guys, just these guys. There we go. Basically, the rest of Humbach, Jot, and Greshke, and move them here and try and fill up more spaces in the woods to, of course, set up against the enemy. I think I'll do it kind of one at a time. I don't feel comfortable sending all these guys at once. So let's just go ahead. We'll push forward with some of them. We'll keep a few of them back here. In fact, some of them have performed really well back here, just firing away with their machine guns. We will make it an attack order so that they are on, you know, they're watching. They're aware that they could be killed at any moment. In fact, we'll just move Yodel. We'll just move all of his men over here. Seems like that Soviet wave is dwindling. I think we've survived the worst of it. And you can see how many men we took out just in that wooded area. So I'm sure just all along the Soviet line, they're questioning their attack, period. That being said, you see this group of men over here? Maybe they're trying to get across on this area. There's a lot of Soviets here. We don't have many units to hold them off. Pretty much we've sent just Gothwald to hold them off. And if they get over here, then we'll know they've shifted their attack. But I think these guys could get quite a few kills if they just get off their damn asses and fight. Morale is not what it once was in 1941. Let's take a look over here, guys. Still plenty of Soviets alive in these woods.
Das ist ein Befehl. Hinten der Feuerschuss.
Das ist ein Befehl. Unbelievable. Look at that, man. So still some Soviets here alive and kicking. Our infantry's getting closer, but once I move those units in here, all of the units that I move in this area, I'm going to advance. Really want to keep advancing. In fact, with Kudenbert and Humbach, I'm just going to go ahead and order an attack. Same with you, boys. I'll get it eventually. Okay, there we go. Ordering it, just an attack order. Not sure why somebody popped smoke. That's, well, I guess there's no wrong time to pop smoke when the Soviet army is attacking you. We can see this is definitely not a situation where the Soviets are willing to give up easily. They might even have a second wave that they're getting prepared here. But I'm hoping that they'll offer us a ceasefire. I will gladly accept it. We retain our positions and just continue the campaign. This campaign is long enough to warrant a ceasefire, honestly, for a few battles at least. These glorious men attacking the Soviets right there. We've got Soviet units all over the damn place. Come on, men. Sehr gut. He's firing at a tree. Not good, not good. Soviet unit right there, guys. This is almost like a close combat video.
Ich werde beschossen! Verdammt normal! Kämpf! Zurück! Nimm das, Ivan! Stellung halten! Direkt, du dreckiger Russenbastard!
Russenbastard.
Feuerschutz! Brauche Deckungsfeuer! Sie haben Ihre Befehle! Nimm das, Ivan! Nein, Ivan weniger, Russenbastard!
That is definitely additional audio they've added, because I never heard that before. He really does not like the Russians, does he? Glad we're also getting some reinforcements here, and they seem to be moving pretty calmly. Of course, they are on an attack order, so if they spot the enemy, they'll stop, they'll start firing. But as close as we can get them would be good. We really want to get these guys up close and personal. We can already see a few Soviet officers here. Maybe we'll end up fighting some Soviet trenches. It wouldn't surprise me. Actually, when I first saw this, I thought this was a bunker. From up here, I was like, wait a minute. But it looks like just pretty much a pile of hay, maybe? Or maybe just some rubble. Great shooting by our men. As you can see, all these dead Soviets at the edge of the forest. They go to edge of forest. I don't think we're gonna have to worry about them. But these guys, they're getting really close. Really close. We're starting to see the second wave, pretty much. So I want to make sure that all of our men are just focused on destroying any additional Soviet forces. Feuer! I'm sure these guys are actually looking this way. Look at them! You fools.
Verdammt! Wo kommt das denn her? Verdammt nochmal! Stellung halten! Das ist ein Befehl! Bis zur letzten Patrone!
Humbach, no! No, Humbach is hurt. He's not dead, but he is struggling. Gonna have to get a medic to him.
Wo kommt das denn her?
Now these boys are dead. So these guys these are our men that we tried to send across the ice here, across the snow, I should say, to assist, and a few of them definitely caught it. Get that officer. Nine. Oh man, look at this. Our boy is moving in. He's got one, kicking him. Got one Soviet and immediately got lit up, man. Just totally lit up. 4 or 5 machine gun rounds to the chest. You cannot survive that. I love the guys we've got here with their MGs firing away. They're our best hope at finishing this battle off early. I love this attack. I still support my attack here. Yes, we've lost some men, of course, but you can see we've completely pushed them out of the forest. And at this point, we're kind of over, or uphill from them, I should say, in the forest, getting really easy shots, mostly on these guys, the ones that were going to attack 49.2, but just look at the casualties here. I'm surprised the Soviets have not asked for a ceasefire already. This is a completely failed assault. I think the general that ordered it will probably be getting a letter from Uncle Joe, and it will not be a nice one. Move there, man. Wondering, is that artillery or is it just enemy AT guns trained on this position? I'm guessing it's going to probably be enemy AT guns or even mortars, but that explosion's a little too big for a mortar. Shell, you've been here all the time. We got commander. Come on now. Just somehow tried to do a German accent and fell into an Irish one mid-accent. Alright, let's push forward. Alright, more Soviets over here. We're throwing grenades now. Oh my goodness. Look at this. We've got one of our guys standing next to one of their Soviet troops. He didn't notice him, apparently. He did at least throw the Stellhandgranate. Let's see if it explodes. Maybe it's a dud. Come on, look at that. Our men kicking some Soviets to death. This may be some of the closest fighting we've had in Graviteam tactics. Good shooting. Ooh! Got wasted, but we did get 2 Stellhandgranates out. That leader is fighting like a lion. He's absolutely not going down easily. We've got quite a few enemy officers here. Beautiful! Another one, and yes, he got hit by the Stellhandgranate. He's not dead, though. We have to advance on that position. And absolutely, one of these infantry units, or maybe all of them, deserve Knight's Crosses. They are pushing through a brutal forest just to get to that officer. And they're already on the attack. I'm not going to give them any more orders. They pretty much know what to do. You can see these guys moving up. Ooh! What's this? We've got Soviet prisoners! Absolutely wonderful. So, some Soviet prisoners heading to our side. And it looks like we've also got the sun starting to come up here. So at the end of the battle, we're going to get a nice little sunshine. We did just kill that officer. So excellent work by our boys. But we had to go all the way out here on the frozen lake just to get a shot at him. Another group of surrendered Soviets. Look at that. It's looking good, guys. Looking very good here in the Volkov front, the Grim of Death. That must be a excellent sight to our men, just seeing those enemies, of course, surrendering here. But we still got a lot of Soviets in this area returning fire. Some very brave Soviets, I must say. That's a beautiful SVT.
Verteidigung. Nimm das, Ivan.
Another group of Soviets. Look at that. I think it's just one guy, but nonetheless, it is an officer. This is an officer surrendering. We don't usually get to see that. But he has finally given up. That guy was fighting like Rambo to the very end. Let's see, another group. Unbelievable, man. Just unbelievable. They've realized that this attack has failed completely. What I am actually curious about, more than actually their casualties, because I'm guessing their casualties are going to be insane, is our casualties. I wonder how many guys we lost in this area. And actually, just to see, if anybody's made it this far in the video, put down below how many men you think we've lost at the end of this battle. I'm guessing it's going to end pretty soon, but just put down your guess. I'm guessing we're going to have 80 KIA, because the fighting in this wood was so brutal. So I'm guessing 80 KIA, like 150 casualties overall. But we'll see if I'm right. We also can't forget we got heavily bombarded in this area by Katyushas and artillery. So I'm taking that into account too. But let's wait and see. See if my guess is correct.
Die Russen kommen!
Gottwald has to get serious here. He's really staying back quite a lot during this battle. Not seeing much return fire from our boys here. But there could be a reason for that. We have taken a lot of shots across the river. Some dead men, although most of these guys are doing okay. Not really contributing, you know. Alright, now we've gotten to the edge of this force. I won't let them charge further anymore. At this point, especially since the sun is coming up, it's going to be very easy to see our men, so I just want them to stay put and hold out to the end. Somehow we lost, I don't know how that could have happened. We lost the officer here. Maybe a sniper. So I didn't see any artillery striking this position. That could be sniper fire. Wow. From all the way over here, man. That is pretty good shot. Yeah, good shot, my friend. Yeah, it definitely had to be this guy. He's nodding his head like, yes, I know, Agrippa. That was absolutely from him. Just a lucky shot on the trench, I think. Don't need to lose our officer into silly reasons. It's not good. We are also getting to the edge of the marsh here, but it looks like the Soviets, I mean, they should surrender here because they're taking cover. We really need to return fire to that Soviet unit right there. Come on. Throw a grenade. Something. Nope. Just the confusion of battle. They don't know what to do. I think they've got tunnel vision and they're looking over here. They're not looking over here where they should be looking. Probably have not even imagined that there could be a Soviet in the marsh. And I think that's one thing a lot of people underestimate about Graviteam tactics. People will be like, you know, there's some pathfinding issues. Imagine being in battle, especially this close to the enemy. You're going to have complete tunnel vision. If somebody wants to experience this, and, you know, obviously not get into war, go play paintball for the first time. Go play airsoft, something like that, where you're actually going to feel like some pain when you get hit. And you'll understand what I'm talking about. There is this thing where your eyes are looking directly in front of you. That's it. You're not looking into your left. You're not looking to your right. Especially not if you've got, like, river over here. You've got some light marsh. You know, if you were there as a person, you may just think, oh, you know, there's nobody's going to be in this tiny marsh area. It's not possible. You know, you're not even considering that. So I can understand that's situations in this game where your men are focused on a completely separate position despite enemy being near them. I think it's very, very possible. Also, we're not down at this level, so we're not sure exactly what they can see. Obviously, marshes over here could conceal some Soviets for sure. Look at that. Now, if that's not telling, nothing is. A dead Soviet next to a dead German. Absolutely a beautiful visual. Okay, I think we're getting the ceasefire finally. The enemy's going to offer a ceasefire. They've just lost so many men in this attack, and of course, just quite a few units becoming our prisoners. So I think they've realized, let's end it here and attack the next time I am going to accept that ceasefire. But just what an amazing fight. I'm really enjoying this DLC so far. And of course, in terms of actual manpower on the field, which is what I like in a Graviteam Tactics battle, it's absolutely massive. We have so many soldiers fighting right now. And when we saw that initial attack, I mean, didn't you guys think, wow, that's amazing, the amount of Soviets coming out of the forest there. I love situations like that in this game. It's pretty much the only reason I play it. So that's interesting. It's going to count as a draw. And you can see the numbers of units in service here. Just look at this, 402, 630. It's incredible. Now killed, 27 killed. So I overestimated, and 69 heavily wounded. I also underestimated Soviet casualties, 34 killed, but 140 wounded. 22 for sure became our prisoner. Not a single German surrendering. So I don't see how they're going to consider that a draw, but it's happened before in GT, so I'm not going to complain. That being said, guys, as always, if you enjoyed this, make sure to like, comment, and please subscribe. Really appreciate the help, and I can't tell you how much it helps me, especially during this difficult time. If you want to get the Grim of Death, you need to go to Steam, go ahead and type in Mius Front Grim of Death, and you must, of course, have Mius Front to play. Catch you on the next one, folks.